Welcome to the Resonate podcast with Aideen. I'm Aideen Riada, and today I'm joined by one of Ireland's most loved actresses, Geraldine Plunkett. You'll know her from Glenrow, The Clinic, and Fair City, but she's also had an incredible stage career. From classics like Juno and the Paycock and The Glass Menagerie to powerful new Irish plays. This year, Geraldine stars as Eileen in The Memory Room, a brand new play by Wexford playwright Sheila Forsey. I actually spoke with Sheila on a podcast episode last year, so I'm very excited to speak with Geraldine about Sheila's new play and find out more about how Geraldine got involved in acting in the first place. What drew you to acting all those years ago?
Well, I was at boarding school and I was in a couple of school plays and I was in Hamlet, which was on the Leaving Cert at the time when I was doing the Leaving. And as it happened, Frank Dermody, who was a director in the Abbey Theatre at the time, happened to be adjudicating quite coincidentally this was in the Ursuline in Thurles in the town, and somebody said come in and see this, so he came in and I auditioned for him and that, and then I had another, so I was leaving school anyway, I was in my last year, and then I went to I had a couple of auditions with the Abbey, and then they gave me a little part, and and so forth. So that's the Abbey at that stage was in the Queen's Theatre in Pearse Street, where they had moved after the fire in 1952. So I mean that theatre's gone now. So that's where
Were
I
you
started.
considering any other career at the time?
No, because no, I wasn't. I was just thinking, well, I'll have to do like millions of people did. I have to do a shorthand and typing course and get a job. And no.
So the option was acting or typist.
Well, it wasn't so much even an option. I mean, it never entered my head for 1 second that I could be an actor until this happened. And
Yeah.
I mean, like if you said to me, would you like to be an, I mean, I loved it. I absolutely loved being in the school play, adored it. But it didn't enter my head that this was in any way a possibility. I mean, you might as well have said, well, do you want to be a spaceman or something? Do you know what I mean? It was as remote as that. And
Yeah.
then it just happened, and very gradually. And of course, I learned an awful lot from all the actors I was working with and everything else. So that's how it happened. Yeah.
I'm
And
curious, who influenced you the most in that time when you were working in the as a young actress?
well, oh God, it's impossible to say. I mean, there was fun. I mean, I was in the era of Harry Brogan and Eileen Crowe I mean, Eileen Crowe was one of the original Abbey players, and I just, and there were a huge amount of actors there who were really very, very good and very experienced, fantastic. And I just learned by watching, and they'd say things to me. I mean, they would say things like, don't do this or do that or whatever. You just learn by watching and working. And I mean, Donal McCann was there as well at the same time. Donal and I, may he rest in peace, the same age. Des Cave, the same age. Clive, there were a whole pile of people. Stephen Ray. There were lots of us that were kind of, you know,
Coming up together.
young at that stage. And then we all went different ways and so forth. And I got married quite young and so on and that.
Did you give up acting for a while when you got married?
Well, I was sort of on and off acting.
Mm.
And I was kind of freelance then. I married Pather Lamb, who was in the Abbey Theatre
Mhm.
and at the time, and our first child, Pather, Peter, as we call him, but he's Pather, was born in 1966. And so I did work a lot when I was pregnant, and then I didn't, and it was erratic, is the only way I could put it.
Mhm. Did you ever take any like formal acting training? Did you ever find any benefit in any of that?
No, not specifically. I mean, I didn't go to an acting school, but the Abbey at that stage under Frank Dermody did in the afternoons sometimes have, I suppose you could say, groups of us for, well, not an
Workshops and
acting
things?
school as set, but workshops and,
Yeah.
techniques of acting and things like that. Um,
Did you have any experience of like self-doubt or, did you feel
Oh,
that, was
I
it hard for you at the
certainly
beginning?
did. I lived in a state of total nerves for years and years and years and years and years because having been at boarding school, well, having school anyway, having been in school plays, which I absolutely adored and was wonderful, loved it. I suddenly, there I was thrown into a professional company and, you just realize you don't know anything at all, kind of thing. So,
Mhm.
but people were very helpful. But at the same time, yes, you're so terrified that you're just bags of nerves all the time.
How
Yes, I
did you
did have
handle
loads of.
that?
I didn't have self-doubt about whether or not I had talent. I know this sounds contradictory, but I had self-doubt about whether or not I was going to be good in specific plays and
Okay.
that, which on the wider level, I kind of did feel I had talent, and then the specific level, I thought, oh, I'll never do this. Do you know what I mean?
Well, each part is a new task, isn't
It's,
it?
it
It's
is, it is, yeah.
Yeah. What role did you find the most difficult to step into in your
Oh
career?
God, oh jeepers, all of them, I think. And in the early days, um, in the early days, I suppose it's hard to say. Parts of roles, I thought, oh, I'm comfortable with this bit, but I'm terrified of the next bit. So it's really very, very difficult to say
Hmm. Yeah,
specifically
that's
because
okay.
kind of everything.
So at what point did you end up auditioning or going on Irish television? Was Glenrow your first TV appearance?
Well, on and off, I have done quite a lot of um, television plays. They used to do one-off plays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were constantly. So I was in on and off in quite a lot of those, and I've done radio plays as well. And then when Glenrow came along, I auditioned for that, like everybody else, and I got it, and that was how I got into Glenrow. So
Was there any point during your time in Glenrow where you felt like this storyline isn't going where I'd like it to go?
all of us in the cast, we'd sometimes say, well, is this plausible? Is that plausible? Or could we say this, that way, the other? But generally speaking, no, because
Hmm.
no, as a matter of fact, I can't really recall. I mean, like all long running series, there's always something that's a little bit implausible, but that's the way. That's the way it is. It's just the main thing is that you wouldn't have implausibilities in relation to your character.
Okay.
Plots-wise, there's always something a little bit off the wall. That's just the nature of the kind of thing, you
To keep
know.
everyone
But
interested.
Wesley Burrows was it came on the first one. There was the Riordans written by Wesley, then there was Bracken, and then there was Glenrow, and they were all grew out of each other, if I could put it that way.
Yeah.
And Wesley wrote them, and I mean, he was just a wonderful writer. Other writers, wonderful writers, came in later, but for years Wesley wrote everything, and and we never had to say, oh, can we say it this way or that way? He just wrote so well, for all the characters. He was marvelous.
Did he ever ask you for your input into anything that you did that he wrote?
Not no, not really, but sometimes after a couple of years, towards the end of each series, we'd all have meetings with the directors and things, and it was and the executive directors, and they'd say, anybody any ideas, or do you think this or that? And if people had, that's fine, you know. I mean, the actors wouldn't have a major input in that sense, but it was
Yeah.
just kind of a feeling
Okay.
to feel things out,
Wonderful.
in a general way.
Looking back, what do you most cherish about that time in Glenrow?
Well, the closeness of the cast to
Mm.
each other, I mean, that's on a personal level. And the fact, of course, that it was so hugely popular. I mean, it was hugely popular. And I enjoy the part and the storylines and the scripts, and I loved acting. So,
You're in your happy place.
well, I was just very lucky, really, and it came at a very good time. The kids were all young. My youngest was 3 when I started, and the eldest. I mean, even financially, the older ones were still at school, but then they were all at college, and then there was, so it was great.
That's wonderful.
Mm.
You've performed in some amazing theatre productions and in amazing places, New York, you mentioned Jerusalem. What stands out to you as a highlight of your theatre journey?
Well, playing Juno and Juno and the Paycock was great. I was in the first production of The House by Tom Murphy. I was in some of Frank McGuinness's play. The most recent actually was his version of Tartuffe in the Abbey. Um, and then, oh God, I loved the Beckett plays. I liked Ger Gallagher's plays. I mean, there was masses of stuff. I got it that I can't even remember now. Um, there were a sort of small productions of, smaller companies. There was one, Budleigh, written by Paul Mercier, and I was also in that, and Pilgrims as well. And Budleigh went to Poland, which was great.
Yeah.
And where else did we go? We went to various places. God. But Paul Mercier is just a great writer in my book, a great, great writer. It's very hard to remember, to be honest. I'd have to sort of nearly sit down and go through everything that I did over the years. I mean, it's
But when you say someone is a great writer, what do you mean by that? Like what are you thinking? Like is it because of the way they write the words or the way they put the
well,
story together?
it can be that, but I think it's also if like a play isn't a play until it's performed. It's a script until that. And if it lifts off the page and engages the audience somehow or other,
Yes.
oh gosh, I mean, there's so many different types of good writers,
Yeah.
of great writers. I mean, I can't remember. I wish I could think of, like, my mind is blank.
That's fine. It's absolutely
You know?
perfect. But that's just an interesting thing you've said there, that if the play is just a script until it's put on
Oh, until
stage,
it's performed, yes, yes.
performed, yeah, and
Because
that it lifts,
sometimes it mightn't read that well on I mean, a play script is not a novel.
yeah,
It has to, the actors have to make it come alive, as any writer will tell you, really, it doesn't live until it's performed, whereas a book, a novel, poem
yeah.
is living on the page.
So you're coming to New Ross to play Eileen in the memory room.
Mm.
And I know that you came across it quite a while ago. Do you remember it from reading from reading?
I do remember. You see, the thing is that when we read it, we didn't read the whole play. This particular festival of scripts was just the first portion of potential plays.
Hmm.
And all of the actors read these, and not extracts of plays, because in some case the plays hadn't even been written. Do you know what I mean? They were just trial things, if you like,
Okay.
read by all the actors. So I do remember I did like it very much, and I thought, oh, would make an interesting play, and obviously it has done now.
Yes, and it's exciting now that Sheila has Eric Fraser Hayes directing, because I know he likes to get involved with that process of
Mm,
molding things to
mm.
flow and to really, like you say, bring it alive. You haven't met Eric yet, but you
I
did.
have on
Okay.
Zoom. And
Yeah.
Sheila on Zoom. And Tomas Kavanagh on Zoom. Just the four of us were a few weeks ago.
Yeah. What was there something in particular about the play that you liked when you first encountered it?
I liked the language and the kind of the mystery and the fact there were going to be secrets, which of course we didn't know what they were or anything like that. But
Yeah.
the language had a kind of a poetry about it, which I liked as well.
Oh,
And
that's so interesting. And so, can you tell us a little bit about Eileen, the character you play?
well,
Which,
she's in a nursing home at the moment. She's had a fall, we gather. And I mean, without going into all the plots or why or the ins and outs of it. And she's obviously getting a bit confused. But a lot of the things that she says, you feel it's not just ordinary dementia or potential dementia. It's kind of something deep, deep, deep inside her that she's reliving and trying to get out. And as it happens, we just do discover later on. Now, she does have a touch of dementia,
Yeah.
but obviously this deep, 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 dark secret it's not that would have had caused her dementia, but possibly because she has the dementia, it's coming out,
Mm-hmm.
the
So
trauma,
interesting.
the trauma.
It's so interesting how we
Yeah.
store everything, don't we? It's like
Yes, we do. Yeah.
our all of our past exists within us at any one
Yes.
moment. And some things get transformed or understood, or we learn a lesson and then forgotten, or maybe never to be remembered. But anything
Absolutely.
that's lingering can
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so interesting how the mind works, how our
Mm.
bodies actually work as well, because we can hold those things in our physical body too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am really excited that Sheila, who's a Wexford playwright, is bringing her, new production to New Ross, because she did bring a production to New Ross last year as well. Um, when you met with Sheila, did anything strike you about her? Was there anything interesting about her that you liked?
I just thought she was really, really likable, intelligent, and interesting about the play. And I was just really looking forward to it and that. Now,
So,
at that stage, when I met them, I hadn't really properly I had read the play very quickly on the computer, which I'm not very good at, to be honest. I hate reading things on computers because you can't go backwards and forwards, and well, I'm sure some people can, but I'm not very technical. So but then eventually they sent, when the script was final. Oh yeah, the script on computer wasn't finalized, you see.
mhm,
And now it's finalized, and they sent it to me in a hard copy, so I've been reading it,
mhm. And
properly.
the play, as you mentioned there, deals with secrets and memory and truth and family,
Mm.
um, themes that touch everybody.
Mm.
What do you hope audiences in New Ross will take away from the performance?
Um, I sub oh, I don't know. Well, first of all, I hope they enjoy it and are gripped by it. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Um, and that they won't sort of necessarily guess too early what the ins and
Okay.
outs of it are. And also the fact that I think that the realization that possibly the things that happen in it, the things that happened years ago, but are revealed, um, possibly, we hope, might have been dealt with differently if it was now, you know,
Okay.
because people were much more secretive about secrets, if I could put it that way. I mean, I can't give too much away.
Yeah, there's more shame often as
Well,
well.
all of that kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, so interesting. Is there anything you'd like to say to people to encourage them to buy their tickets?
Oh, well, it's going to be a great performance, and it's going to be really gripping, and lots of secrets. And
Oh, it's wonderful.
and we're
Um,
all wonderful, 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 a wonderful script, wonderful director, wonderful actors.
well, I'm really excited for the play, and it's been really lovely to hear a little bit about your beginnings as an actor as well, how things got started for you. I know you've had an amazing journey. Thank you so much, Geraldine.
Thanks, Aideen. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll see you again on another episode of the Resonate podcast with Aideen. Goodbye.